All right, Shalom to the elect. I want to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh is the one the world ignorantly calls God. Yah means he, and Hawa means to be or exist. So Yahweh's name means he is, or he to be, or he exists. All right. Bahashem means in the name. Ba means in. Ha means the, and Shem means name. Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Messiah. Yah means he, and Yahweh Shai means save or deliver. So Yahweh Shai's name means he is the Savior, or he is the deliverer. Bear with me 1 second. All right. Let's lock it. Bahashem, once again, meaning in the name. Rakha Kodash means Holy Spirit. Rakha means Spirit, and Kodash means Holy. So I said all the praises, honor, and glory belongs to Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, ever well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. All right. This lesson is, our new bodies will be out of this world, man. I was just meditating on it one time, and look, man, the new bodies that the elect will receive is gonna be such a different grade, man. Just thinking about it, man. All right. It's gonna be incredible, man. All right, it's gonna be incredible. The new bodies. All right, and guess what? We're gonna have bodies like Yahweh Shai. Okay, but these bodies that we're gonna get, all right, are gonna they're gonna be they're look, when let's just say they're gonna be out of this world, man. Okay, now I want to start here. This is the book of Philippians, chapter 3, starting at verse 20. For our conversation is in heaven, from whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, who shall change our vile body, that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto himself. All right. So what this is saying is when Yahweh Shah returns, he's going to change the bodies of the elect. All right. Once that day comes, that day of the Lord comes. All right. Yahweh Shai is going to beam up his elect into the chariot and change them. And they're going to have those incorruptible and immortal bodies. Okay? And those bodies that they're going to receive are going to be like him. They're going to be the same type of body that Yahweh Shai has. Okay? Which they're going to be like these bodies we have now, but they're going to be of a higher grade, and they can't bleed, they can't hurt, they can't die, etc. Okay? And you see, this change is gonna take place when Yahweh Shai returns, the day of the Lord. So this is another reason, why we need. This is another reason why we need. This is another reason why we need these things to happen. All hell to break loose, the MOTB, martial law, famine, death and destruction. This is another reason why we need these things to happen. Okay. These bodies, man, are going to be incredible. For real. All right. Let me get the next scripture. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, starting at verse. Let me see. Well, let me make this. Actually, no, I'll start from verse 51. It says, Behold, an apostle Paul wrote this, right? It says, Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed, right? That change that's coming when Yahweh Shai returns, right? Verse 52, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. So when this change happens, it's going to be quick, all right? Like that, all right? At the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. This is going to happen once again when Yahweh Shai returns. Okay? Verse 53, for this corruptible must put on incorruption. Okay? And this mortal must put on immortality. And how is that going to happen? And what is this talking about? One, it's going to happen when that change comes. And two, it's going to happen because, once again, when that change happens, we're not going to have these bodies that we have now. That's corruptible, all right? And mortal, meaning able to die, all right? We're not going to have these bodies that we have. And I say we, you know, Lord willing, you know, us brothers here, you know, us hopeful elect, Lord willing, okay? But, you know, the bodies that the elect are going to receive when they get delivered, all right, they're not going to have these bodies anymore. The bodies they currently have. It's going to be a complete change, man. All right? You can look up that word changed in 1 Corinthians 15 and 51. I believe it goes into something like transform or something like that. And trans, I believe, means to cross, and form, you know, for like your form. So pretty much to change form, man. All right, because we're going to have those new bodies. Verse 54, so when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. Okay? Verse 57, but thanks be to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. All right? So, pretty much, all right, this change is coming. Okay? This change is coming, and it's almost here. All right? And it ain't going to happen until that day comes. Now, when that day comes, as Yahweh Shai said, we don't know what day that is, you know, when exactly it's going to happen. All right? We don't know that. Yahweh Shai said he doesn't know, the angels don't know. That's something only the Most High himself knows. Okay? That just shows you, man, the Heavenly Father. That also is another cut to these Christians saying that the Lord and the Heavenly Father and his Son are the same. You know? Because how does one part of himself know another? Because how can he know and not know when he's going to return? You see? It doesn't make sense. Okay? But, let me get this. This is 1 Corinthians 15 and 40. There are also celestial bodies, and this means heavenly bodies, and bodies terrestrial, meaning the bodies that people have, the bodies we have, right? But the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. Yeah, because with those celestial bodies, you know, that's a different glory. You know, like angels, they can, angels, they don't get tired, all right? You know, they don't have sex and different things like that, all right? It's certain things that they can do with those bodies, and it says, and the glory of the terrestrial is another, right? The glory of the terrestrial is another, because these bodies that we have, all right, you know, we have sex, we eat food, drink, things like that, okay? But with these new bodies that we're gonna have, okay? These new bodies that we're gonna have, man, all right, this is gonna be a whole. This shows you that it's gonna be the best of both worlds. Pretty much, we're gonna have these new bodies and be able to do this. We're gonna have these bodies and be able to do things that angels do as well as men do. You know, as well as mortal people do. All right. However, we're not gonna die or get hurt. So what does this mean? We'll be able to fly. We'll be able to do these different things. Okay. Hey, like Elder Yashawama brought out, right? Because once again, we're gonna have bodies like Yahweh Shai. Then Yahweh Shai said that he's gonna drink, pretty much wine with us in the kingdom. You know, so this shows you that, but we're gonna by the kingdom we're gonna have those new bodies. You see. So this shows you that there's gonna be a cross. When I say cross, I mean pretty much we're gonna have these bodies and be able to do pretty much things once again that an angel does, that a man does. Okay. You know, these bodies are gonna be out of this world, man. I kid you not. All right, this is the book book of Isaiah, chapter 40. And starting in verse 28, it says, Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, Yahweh, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. Here's the point. There is no searching of his understanding. So so pretty much, all right, there's no limit to what the Lord knows how to do. There's no limit, okay, what he can do. All right. That's the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. Okay. Verse 29, he giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Verse 30, even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. Verse 31, but they that wait upon Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. You see, so we're gonna have being able to mount up with wings as eagles, man. That means you're gonna be able to fly. Okay, that means you're gonna be able to fly, man. All right, we're gonna be able to fly with these new bodies, man. All right, that's something Esau dreams about doing. Esau can only fly with a helicopter or a plane or a jetpack or something. But with these new bodies, we don't need to have any of those things. Okay, we don't need to have a jetpack or something like that to be able to fly. Hell, brothers might even fly on this side, when that Lord lifts up that standard. When Esau comes in like a flood, okay, the standard meaning escape, So, hey, the Lord gonna allow brothers to escape that situation by spiritual powers, and one of those ways to escape might be able to fly. Might be to fly away somewhere, But and that's on this side, okay. Not saying that we're gonna have new bodies on this side. I'm just saying, just so you know that the power of flight is not far fetched. Don't you understand? This is the Lord, man. He can literally do anything. He created the world, okay. Through his son Yahweh Shai. Okay. Now this is another precept once again, about pretty much, because once again we're gonna have a cross, okay, between when I keep saying cross, we're pretty much gonna be able to do the same things an angel can do, okay, with these new bodies, okay. And here's an example, all right, that's written in the scriptures of some things that angels had done and are able to do. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1. Starting at verse 4, it says, And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, I'm talking about a chariot, and a fire, I'm talking about the lights of the chariot, enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. All right, and this once again talking about the lights of the chariot, they were so bright it appeared as fire, right? Verse 5. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. All right, talking about 4 angels, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. So they looked like men, right? These were 4 angels, okay? Verse 6, and everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings, and that was literal. They actually had 4 faces. Verse 7, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. All right, and burnished is brown. So the angels are dark-skinned men, okay? This is a side note, right? Verse 8, and they had the hands of a man under their wings on the 4 sides. Slakia, let me reread that. Ezekiel 1 and 8. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides, and they 4 had their faces in their wings. Verse 9, their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went. And they went every one straight forward. Okay, so, and by the way, Salak, let me just, well, that's in the next verse, okay? But the point is in verse 9. It says their wings were joined one to another. Here's the point. They turned not when they went. They went every one straight forward. So pretty much the angels, right? you know, they hovered. You know, when it says they turned not when they went, you know, pretty much they went in the direction without turning and facing in that direction. Okay, like when you walk to the left, you know, you can't just move to the left without, turning and facing that way. You know, when people turn, for example, you go up the street and make a right. You're turning your whole body. Okay, pretty much any direction mortal men turn, or pretty much any direction mortal men go, they almost always have to turn around. Okay, turn and face that direction. The angels, no, they don't have to do that. They hover. They, like you see in the movie sometimes, or like Superman, he hovers, to the side, He can go that way without turning his whole body and facing that way. Okay, he'll hover to the side, to the front, to the back. Okay, so we're going to be able to do these same things. Okay, and these are angels that did them, right? Now, jumping down, okay, verse 14. And it says, and the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. And this is talking about, so the angels, it was moving fast. One thing that they was doing, all right, in this verse, it says that they were living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. Okay? And when you look at lightning, how fast is a lightning strike? Okay? So these angels, they was, one thing that they was also doing was moving real fast. Okay? They were moving real. They were going at they were running at the speed of lightning, man. Okay? Moving at the speed of lightning. Okay? And this just goes to show. I remember Elder Manat Zakba had said one time that the things that these people say, that pretty much these people glorify in this world is small compared to what the Lord is going to bring for those that love Him. Roughly paraphrasing, all right. The things of this world, because look, in this society, right, in this world, people glorify people who can, like for example, the fastest man on earth, all right, or the man who could jump the highest, okay, or could swim the fastest. Or some they might have some competition like who can breathe underwater long enough, So, people in this world they glorify that, but those things are only done in these bodies. Okay, so how much more in the bodies that we're gonna get, or that the elect will get? Ultimately, all Israel are gonna have these bodies. Okay, but how much more in the kingdom? Okay, how much more then? All right. So we're going to be able to do that. We're going to be able to move at the speed of lightning with these new bodies. We're going to be able to do that. Okay. We're going to be able to fly. All right. We're not going to get tired. Okay. See, an angel, all right, doesn't get tired. All right. An angel, okay, does not get tired, man. All right. And let me get an example, okay? Because this is another good example I wanted to get, all right? Because once again, the glory of the celestial is one, right? This is the book of Daniel, Salaki, not Daniel. The book of Hosea, all right? Chapter 1. And verse 7, right? And it says, but I will have mercy upon the house of Judah and will save them by the Lord their God, and will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, nor by horsemen. All right. And this is twofold, but one of the folds is talking about when the Assyrians tried to ransack Judah, all right, and an angel killed lots of their men. All right, and I'm about to get that account. It's 2 Kings chapter 19 and verse 35. Actually, I'm gonna start at yeah, I'm gonna start at verse. I'm gonna start at verse 32. I want to get back into this, man. Reading some more about our forefathers. 2 Kings 19:32. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh concerning the king of Assyria: He shall not come into this city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shield, nor cast a bank against it. Verse 33. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into this city, saith Yahweh. For I will defend this city, to save it, for mine own sake, and for my servant David's sake. Okay? Verse 35. And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Lord went out and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 184,500, meaning a hundred, right? Plus fourscore, which is 80. A score is 20, and four, so 4 times 20 is what? 80, right? It says in 5,000, so 185,000 men. It says that when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. Okay, so the angel of the Lord, he killed 185,000 men. All right, think about that. Okay, think about that, man. The Lord defended. The Lord defended. Okay, I sent an angel. Okay, the angel killed that army. You know. So and you gotta understand, right? In these bodies we have now, you normally would get tired, right? Just fighting. You know what? 5. Think about it. Maybe three people, just two, even one person. It. In these bodies, you would get fired. You would get tired just fighting one person. Okay, but the angel, he fought 185,000. You see, so you don't. The angel doesn't get tired. Okay, the angel doesn't say, "Oh man, shit, I need to go sit down somewhere, man." Damn. Nah, man, the angel doesn't do that. All right. You know, an angel, he can fight as long as need be. All right. He doesn't get tired. So think about it, man. Us, when we get those new bodies, we're going to be able to do these same things. Okay. You know, and I mean, not like, you know, pretty much. And plus, we're going to have spiritual power. Spiritual power is going to be, you know, a regular thing for us. Okay. I'm just saying, you know, through spirit, it's going to be like a regular thing for us, man, because we're always going to be able to have spiritual powers in those new bodies. See, on this side, when we get spiritual powers, it's going to be just, you know, when we need it, you know, for protection. Okay. When we get those new bodies, man, all right, we're going to be in a different level. Okay. Another thing, too, being at the fact that these bodies are immortal, right? Let me read it again. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15. Getting right to the point, right? Verse 53, for this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality, right? And immortality meaning we won't be able to die. So if we won't be able to die, all right, you know, because this makes perfect sense, okay? Because what Yahweh Shai, remember Yahweh Shai said, this is the book of St. John, St. John, chapter 14, verse 2. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. Okay, so, you know, understanding this, okay, those mansions are the different, you know, the planets. Okay, the planets in outer space. All right, those are the different mansions. Okay, and even the so-called white man, you know, he looks through his, you know, technology and everything at these different planets and satellites, and says that they're and he says that he even says that they're inhabitable, that they're able to be inhabited by humans. Okay, you know, however, you know, the thing is, in these bodies we got now, we can't go out there. We can't go out there, man. All right, you can't just go into outer space, right? You can't just go into outer space with these type of bodies. All right, you won't, you know. It's like, give me just 1 second. You know, I mean, yeah, with these bodies, you can't go into outer space, but, you know, what I really was trying to say was, it makes sense because we're going to be able, if the Lord has these different mansions set up for us, or just like these different planets set up for his elect, right? How are the elect going to be able to go out there and receive them? Be that these bodies are, being that these bodies are you know, it's like pretty much elect are going to be able to receive go to those different planets, because those bodies that they're going to get are immortal, because look, those bodies are going to be able to, travel throughout outer space. See, the bodies we have now can't do that. All right, let's go back to Genesis chapter 1. Towards the story of the creation. Genesis chapter 1, starting at verse 6, it says, and the power said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. And the firmament is talking about what? The ozone layer. That's what, the so-called white man calls it, right? But it's the ozone layer, right? And the firmament is clear, okay? Let me get a couple precepts. I'm going to come back to that. This is the book of Job, chapter 33. And verse 17. And it says, wait, it's 33? No. 32. No. It should be 33. Salakia. It's a certain scripture where it says, "Hast thou spread out the sky, which is as a molten looking glass?" All right. Let me get the different one. You just look that one up. This is the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, and Apocrypha, also known as Sirach, chapter 43. And verse 1, it says, the pride of the height, the clear firmament, the beauty of heaven with its glorious show. Right, so the clear firmament. That firmament is the ozone layer. I remember going to this attraction in New York with my mom not too long ago called the Intrepid, and then in there they have like a space type of attraction thing, and pretty much they were talking about pretty much they had mentioned the ozone layer and things like that. All right, I remember my mom telling me that because Slovakia, right? Because they were talking about going to the moon, but they never been to the moon, okay? Because you can't get out of this firmament. All right, I remember my mom telling me so we're pretty much like in a big fish tank, thinking about it. The ozone layer from is like a belt around the earth. All right, which the Lord created. This shows you that the Lord is real. But this is the book of Genesis chapter 1. And Hillary Clinton even said that when she was running for president, she said one time at a rally, I believe she said, we are putting cracks in those firmament, and it's like we're putting little cracks in that glass ceiling, showing you that also that the so-called white man is destroying the earth. Is Genesis chapter 1, starting at verse 6. And the power said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. All right. And let it divide the waters from the waters. Okay. And the waters is talking about, the waters above the. So let me read verse 7 to help further break it down. Verse 7. And the powers made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament. Right. From the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. So the ozone layer. Okay. Which is the firmament, all right? It divides the waters above the firmament, which are what? At that outer space atmosphere, okay? It divides that atmosphere from our atmosphere here on Earth, okay? And see, because pretty much as Apostle Ramla was saying when he was breaking it down, all right, this atmosphere is like pretty much this atmosphere we're in, this is our atmosphere, right? If we were to go in that other atmosphere, we couldn't survive out there, man. You see, but this devil wanting to, be the devil, breaking all that stuff up. Okay, you know, he he you know he it's like pretty much his devil breaking all breaking all the stuff up pretty much. He he doesn't consider these things. Okay, but my point to show is that you know. Oh, and by the way, it says the waters because when you look at that word waters, right? It's Shemayim. Okay, and I believe Shah means pertaining to, and the waters is Mayim. It's like if I'm wrong. All right, but yeah, Shah means which or pertaining to. Okay, and Mayim means waters, pertaining to the waters, because we look in the atmosphere, it has what? It has moisture. Okay, and moisture is water. All right. But my point is, being that the firmament separated it because also that outer space atmosphere we can't breathe in, but being at those planets or outer space, those different mansions. All right, Yahweh, hey, the elect when they get changed, they're gonna be able to with those new bodies. They won't need a spaceship or something or astronaut suit to go into outer space. You literally be able to take off from Earth into outer space, man. Okay, and that just sounds like that just sounds like something Superman would do. I'm just thinking of that movie Man of Steel, because in that movie Man of Steel, he actually did that. He took off from here on Earth into outer space. He actually had done that. All right. These bodies, I'm telling you, these bodies are going to be of a different grade, man, and they won't be able to die. Once again, they're going to be just like Yahweh Shai, man. Well, these bodies, they're going to be the type of bodies that Yahweh Shai has. Okay? Let me get this. I've gone over this before, but, just bringing it out. I was recently meditating on it. This is the book of Salakia. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 2. Beloved, now are we the sons of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, and it doeth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. All right, we're going to see Yahweh Shai. All right, we're going to have those same bodies, man. And what did Yahweh Shai say in his glorified body when he had arose or visited? It's like when he had visited John the Revelator on the Isle of Patmos. This is Revelation chapter 1 and verse 18. It says, I am he that liveth and was dead. Here's the point. And behold, I am alive forevermore. Meaning Yahweh Shai is now immortal. He's never going to die again. When he was crucified, he had died, but Yahweh raised him up. All right. And now Yahweh Shai is immortal. All right. And it makes perfect sense because why Yahweh Shai said, just adding, pretty much this kind of precept. And it makes perfect sense when Yahweh Shai said this. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47 and verse 3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Right? Pretty much when Yahweh Shai comes back, he's not going to meet Esau as a regular person that he could just kill and everything. All right? He's going to meet him as that angelic force that can't be beaten. Okay? You can't kill an angel. You can't kill Yahweh Shai. This also goes to show, because remember that account that we read about the angel of the Lord, destroying those Assyrians. Okay? It also goes to show you, all right, that also goes to show you that there is that they haven't trapped anything. They haven't trapped the angel over there in 9/11. They talk about Slakia and Area 51 and everything. You can't. Esau talking about they captured a so-called UFO. No, you didn't. All right. If anything, it was man-made. All right, because you can't capture that. You can't restrain that. If they tried to really lock down the angel, they can't. If they ever tried to, the angel could get out of there with ease. it would be cake work. Okay, getting out of there, man. All right, it'd be a cakewalk getting up out of there, man. Okay, you know, but let me just see if I can get us on preset. Okay, but these bodies, once again, we're gonna have. Oh yeah, and Salaki, because almost forgot, right? Why how about Shad, man? Because I wanted to bring this out. Because this was brought up at camp, right? So first, this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 5, starting at verse 51. It says, He answered me and said, Ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, Wherefore are not they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? So saying here that, pretty much ask a woman that has children, why the children she births later are like the ones she brought forth before, but of less stature. Okay, verse 53. So pretty much ask a pregnant woman, why the kids you having now are like the kids you had before, but they're less of stature, right? Verse 53. It says, And she shall answer thee, They that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise, right? So pretty much when a woman has children during her prime, the children are born and will grow stronger. But when she's older and the womb isn't strong and youthful as before, the children, that she has in that older age, older than she was in her prime, she has the children she has then, right, aren't going to be as the strong as the one she had in her prime. Okay. Verse 54. 2 Ezra 5 and 54. Consider thou therefore also how that ye are of less stature than those that were before you. So pretty much ye that were pretty much was being told Edris, that he was of less stature than those that were before his time period. So think about it, right? Think about Ezra's time. Ezra's time, they were of a bigger stature, stronger stature than we are now, right? But even in Ezra's time, he had, he was of less stature, all right, than those that were before him. So imagine Moses, okay? Imagine King David, all right? Imagine Samson. Imagine during the time of Judges, okay? Imagine during the time of Genesis, Jacob, the 12 patriarchs. Imagine how, their stature, all right? But then as time, went on, okay, the stature got lesser, right? Now, it was being told Ezra that he was of less stature than those that were before him, right? Now, verse 55, it says, And so are they that come after you less than ye, as the creatures which now, so pretty much those that come after Esdras, all right, which also includes us, are of less stature than Esdras was. So, we're smaller, all right, than Esdras was back then, okay? It says, as the creatures which should now begin to be old and have passed over the strength of youth, all right? The earth is in an old and weak state now, and that's why we're in a weak state now. We used to be bigger and stronger in the ancient world, faster, or it's like you fast longer and do things to have better memory, etc., right? Because Esdras was fast for like 7 days. And so you wonder now, why you can't, my brothers say, don't be trying to overly fast and everything, for like 4, 5, 6, 7 days. No, man, because these bodies can't really hold that. All right. You're trying to drive fast for like 7, 8 days, man. Nah, man. You're going to go back to the spirit world. You do that, right? It says, I got a note here. I'm just reading. It says, but we can't do that now because things are weaker, because we're born in the old age of the earth. So once again, just like a pregnant woman, all right, that has had, children in her prime, all right, versus children in her older age, the ones in her prime when she was younger and more youthful, all right, those children are going to be of a bigger stature, but the ones she has in her latter age, those children are going to be of a lesser stature. Slaki, So it's the same thing with the earth. Okay, and this was told Esdras. Right now, let me read this. It's the book of Second Esdras, right, chapter 2, starting at verse 42. I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. Verse 53, verse 43. And in the midst of them there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest. And upon every one of their heads he set crowns was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. Right? So this is Esdras, right? And he's seeing, these men get crowned, right? But then he said there's a young man of high stature, which is Yahweh Shai. Okay? And tells you when the verse is reading down, all right, that is Yahweh Shai. Okay? Yahweh Shai, setting crowns on the elect. Okay, but the point is, Esdras being right. So Esdras, because we just read the precept, right? We're of less stature than Esdras was, right? So Esdras was at, a certain stature that was greater than us. Okay, now, all right, Esdras in his time was at a certain stature that was greater than the stature people are at now, pretty much, right? But here, Esdras is looking at something, and Esdras being in that great stature he said there was a young man of a high stature. So here it is. This is a high stature. So it's like if you following along, Lord willing, you understand what I'm saying. But here it is. Esdras being at a greater stature than we are now. He's calling somebody else of a high stature. So it's a high stature than the stature he was at, right? And then they said he was taller than all the rest. All right. So Esdras is calling these men tall as well as the one that's crowning them. All right. And this is a higher stature than Esdras was at. All right. So that just goes to show you when we get these new bodies, man. All right. This is going to be, we're not going to be these weak little flimsy things that we have now. All right. Yeah, we're going to be taller. Okay. We're going to be of a taller stature. All right. Than we currently are. We look at people who's 6'4" and everything is tall. Nah, man. That's not tall. We're going to be tall, man. We're like 8 feet. Okay. Just think, man. King David was reasonably tall. Okay. And just think how tall we're going to be. Okay. When, with those new bodies, man. You see, this is coming. All right. On top of that, we're going to have spiritual powers. And it makes sense, that we're going to be able to, enslave the heathens. They're not going to be able to beat us if we can't die. All right. They're not going to be able to beat us, man. You can't take if you can't take a people down, if you can't even kill them or even hurt them, how are you going to take them down? You can't. You can't do what you want with them. You see? So it makes perfect sense why Daniel said this. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7. And 2 verses, verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Yeah. And we're going to take it with those new bodies. We ain't going to ask. We're literally going to take it. All right. Esau what? Esau took over North America, right? He took it. All right. But we're going to take the world, man. Esau took over the world. He took it, but we're going to take over the world, right? But Yahweh Shai, you remember Brightburn. And that man, Brandon Breyer, he couldn't get hurt. All right. Unless it was with that, it was this Brandon, that if you ever watched that movie Brightburn, if you haven't, I highly recommend to watch it. All right. But it was a certain stone, all right, that he needed. Okay. It's a certain stone that you needed in order to be able to wound him. All right. Because Brandon Brightburn, it's like a evil version of Superman, or evil in the eyes of these people, right? Because the regular Superman, he is good in the eyes of these people, all right. But us brothers understand, looking at that Superman, it's like, why the fuck would you save these people? Okay, but Brandon Breyer, he was like an evil version of Superman, okay, to the world, But his whole sole purpose was to take the world, all right, and he realized that. All right, to take the world, okay? You know, but so with Yahweh shot, and the thing is with Brandon Breyer, right? He it was one point I remember in the movie he had reached and touched the what's the name? It was a lawnmower blade that was still on. He had reached and touched it and didn't get hurt. He didn't even bleed. Okay, you know, so it makes perfect sense, man. You know, as to why it makes perfect sense to to the point understanding how we're gonna take the world. You know, but jumping down, verse 27, and enslave the nations. See, we can't do this on this side, man. You know, but when Yahweh Shah comes back, because by this time taking the kingdom, hey, when we take the rulership over, when we take it back, all right. We're there is not gonna Salakia, this clock is throwing me off. Salakia for the pauses and everything. I'm just telling my brain be farting. But pretty much when we take the kingdom, all right, we're gonna have the new bodies by then, and we're gonna be under Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh Shai is gonna be back, and we're gonna take this world over. All right, righteously. All right, and we're gonna slay the heathens. Right, verse 27. Daniel 7:27, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Right, meaning all nations are going to serve and obey Yahweh Shai and the elect. And how would that be? They're going to be taken down. You see, the heathen nations, they're going to be taken over, man. All right. You know, and how else will we be able to take them over if we didn't have those new bodies? And you see, and another thing with the kryptonite thing, right? Because you look at Superman, right? And that's why you can't tell the average person this, man, because they aren't going to understand. They're going to think you crazy. But with the Lord, everything is possible, okay? Everything is possible with Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, right? So with Superman, let me say, unlike Superman, okay, who has kryptonite, and that's the way to weaken him. With these new bodies, we're not gonna have no kryptonite. The thing is, our kryptonite is sin. Okay, let me get this real quick, man. All right, the nations notice. The heathen nations, they know that our kryptonite is sin. All right, this is where is it? Salakia. Trying to find this. Bear with me 1 second. Just Salakia. Okay. This is the book of Judith, chapter 5, starting at verse Salakia. Judith chapter 5, starting at verse 20. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna start up a little bit. All right. Book of Judith chapter 5, starting at verse 15, just to get some, now verse 13 to get some context of what's being talked about here, right? Judith chapter 5, starting at verse 13, and the Most High dried the Red Sea before them. Before who? The Israelites, right? So we're being talked to the Israelites is who's being talked about. Verse 14, and brought them to Mount Sinai and Kadesh Barn, and cast forth all that dwelt in the wilderness. So they dwelt in the land of the Amorites, and they destroyed by their strength all of them of Heshbon. I believe it's supposed to be Heshbon. All right. It says, in passing over Jordan, they possessed all the hill country. All right. And they cast forth before them and the Canaanite and the Pharisite and the Jebusite and the Sychemite and all the Girgashites, and they that dwelt in the country many days. Slakia, if you read it in the app or something and it says different names, I'm reading it in the 1611. So it's like old English. Okay. This is referring to how, we went into the land. The Lord brought us into the land of Israel. Let me get a precept, right? This is Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 12. starting at verse 3. For it was thy will to destroy by little the hands of our Slakia. Verse Wisdom of Solomon 12:3. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land. Yeah, who was living in the holy land, the Canaanites, right, which were Hamites. Verse 4. Whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices. Let me get a precept just to prove that. You know, sometimes the spirit goes a certain way when you're doing a lesson. All right. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 15. And Canaan begat Zidon and his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And you could look up, you know, a lot of these places. It's in the land of Israel. The location is in the land of Israel. Verse 19. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar and to Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah, and Edom and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. So, if you look at these places on the map, all right, you see that the territory is the land of Israel. Okay, so but before the Israelites dwelt in that land, the Canaanites, all right, as we read here in this verse, all right, which are Hamites, dwelt there, because Canaan, I believe, is a descendant of Ham. Okay, yeah, verse 20. These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in their countries and in their nations. All right. Back in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, right, in verse 3 again, it says, For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land, whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children, and devourers of man's flesh and the feasts of blood, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help. So this is some of the wicked things that those Hamites was doing in that land, right? Verse 7, it says, that the land which thou esteemest above all other might receive a worthy colony of the Most High's children. You see? So that land was for us. Okay? That's our homeland. All right? The Lord kicked them wicked-ass Hamites out, man. All that shit that they done, but even furthermore, because it was, once again, we in the Lord's movie, man. All right? And, you know, he purposed for the Israelites to dwell over there. Now it's the land of Israel, like the land of Canaan. It was the land of Israel. All right. And furthermore, in the Lord's movie, all right, the Lord about to upgrade his some of his actors. Okay. You know, that play a certain role. All right, and they're not going to have any weaknesses. Back in Judith chapter 5. Judith chapter 5, starting in verse 15, it says, So they dwelt in the land of the Amorites, and they destroyed by their strength all them of Heshbon, and passing over Jordan, they possessed all the hill country, and they cast forth before them the Canaanite, the Pharisee, and the Jebusite. All right, so I read that. Verse 17. No, let me continue. The Jebusite and the Sychemite and all the Girgashites, and they dwelt in that country many days. And whilst they sinned not before their God, they had prospered. See? And whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the Most High that hateth iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. And you see, pretty much when we sinned against the Lord, all right, we're vulnerable, all right, we go down. But when we don't sin against the Lord is with us, and we're strong and unbeatable. And the nations, they know that. And you look at our people today, you see that these nations keep us in sin, especially the so-called white man. Drugs, promoting adultery, promoting that whorish behavior for our women. All right, saying you could eat all abominable foods, you could be a HOMO. All right. Verse 19 says, But now are they returned to their God, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. Let us go up, and we shall overcome them. Right, so showing you once again, showing you that sin is our kryptonite. Sin is breaking the laws of 1 John 3 and 4. Verse 21. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by. And there ain't going to be no iniquity in our nation, okay? Because we're going to have that new covenant activated. It's about to get. Let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them and their God before them, and we become a reproach before all the world. So when we don't sin, we're unbeatable, okay? And you see? And right now, I ain't going to go too deep, but, right now, with scriptures talk about how this flesh is sinful, all right? We're in a chains of darkness, okay? But we're going to be unleashed from these chains of darkness one day, all right? We're going to be unleashed out of these chains of darkness one day. And that's when Yahushua returns and changes us, okay? Because we're subject to sin in these bodies, all right? You see? And this also proves that we're not going to die, all right, when we get changed. So our kryptonite is sin. But the Lord said, this is the book of Jeremiah 31. I ain't purpose for the lesson to be this long, but as it is, I'm going to get right to the point regarding the new covenant. Jeremiah 31 and 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. The point is, the Lord going to put the laws in our inward parts. We're going to keep the laws 100%, never going off again. And therefore, the scriptures say this, right? This is the book of Romans. Book of Romans, chapter 6, and verse 23. For the wages of sin is death. So what you get for sinning is dying, okay? But if you won't sin, then that means you won't die. Showing you that we're not going to die, and our kryptonite of sin will be of no more effect to us when we get changed. So there is no taking us down, all right? We're going to have those new bodies, and we won't sin no more. We're going to be immortal. That's why I say immortality. This corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal shall put on immortality. All right, so I just wanted to bring this lesson out, man. Lord willing, it was edifying, okay? Our new bodies are going to be out of this world. So with that, I want to give all the praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Akakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, never well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Shalom to the elect.